What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Garrett Hahn, and baby, who is ready to catfish the internet today? As you can see from the title of today's video, we are going to be diving into the new face palette from Dragun Beauty. We are going to be taking you from a full beat, one-dimensional potato to a chiseled goddess, but that is assuming that this palette has that power. If she doesn't, I'm going to be real sad because I love my base routine literally from start to finish. I love just getting my face prepared for an eyeshadow look or just like getting out, like I love base makeup. Ooh. When Nikita said that she was coming out with a palette, my mind directly went to like an eyeshadow palette and I was like, oh dear Jesus, not another eyeshadow palette. Because I feel like there have been so many eyeshadow palettes coming out recently, and low-key, high-key, I'm really tired of seeing like just like new eyeshadow palettes get released like all the time. Like literally it's every week now. So when this was like a different palette, it was a face palette, you know, you have your contour, you have your blush, you have your highlight shades. Like I was so excited about it. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi, hello, and welcome. Thank you all so much for spending some time out of your day to hang out with me, talk about makeup, and try out some new products. Feel free to click that subscribe button down below to become a member of this little growing fam that we have over here on YouTube. I would love to have you guys. And if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, feel free to click the bell notification button to the right of the subscribe button. So if you guys are curious what the tea is on the new Dragun Beauty face palette, if y'all want to see how I like to go from zero to hero, nay to yay, how I like to catfish the world, then keep on watching and let's get sick. My base is completely done. I have my foundation, concealer, brows, powder, all that good stuff. So we have to move on to sculpting out this face because I look like an egg right now and we need dimension. This is what the PR box looks like, and when you open it up, girl, what do we have inside? Oh my God. So when you open the box, this is what it looks like on the inside. And the cool thing about this is, if I remember hearing Nikita write on her story when she was introducing this new product to all of her followers, she did say that all of the products were going to be shipped in a box very similar to this. So I think what you see is what you get minus the like purple hair in here. I think this was just for the PR kit. This hair is real thirsty. Oh my God. She needs some conditioner, but it would have been hell expensive to do like a good quality wig in every single PR box. So I get that. I don't actually think that this is a wig. However, if it is, girl, you better believe I'm gonna be slapping it on at the end of this video. Girl, but all I'm saying is I could live my Ariana Grande fantasy with this. Yes, ma'am. So if you guys purchase the face palette, this is what it is going to look like. I really like the clear moment because a lot of packaging normally comes in like paper, kind of like cardboardy. Is that what it's called? Cardboard? I don't know. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about though. It's very standard for makeup specifically. I do like how the actual unicorn is different. This is recyclable. It does feel like plastic. So yeah. Also, her brand is cruelty-free and vegan, which is great for all of you out there who only use cruelty-free or vegan makeup. And then obviously you get all of the ingredients on the back if you guys wanted to kind of like check to see what is in the product itself. But I'm gonna show you guys a quick zoom in of the packaging. That way you can see what it looks like up close. I know that this isn't obviously going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's just not how it's gonna work because it is different. I honest to God, haven't seen somebody do packaging like this before. It is very three-dimensional, which I do like because I like being able to have like more texture, more kind of just like things happening to packaging, especially now. I feel like with all these brands coming out with new makeup, it's really hard to make a product or packaging really stand out. And in order to grab somebody's attention, to kind of entice them to want to buy something, you have to create really good visuals. You have to create really good products. And also this packaging is very, very Nikita. I've met her a few times in person and she's always been so incredibly nice, so just like down to earth, and she's very, very easy and fun to talk with. I am hoping that the actual product inside matches the aesthetic and just like the overall presentation on the outside, because in my opinion, this is sickening, and I just hope that the products inside match because Girl, sometimes half these products, the packaging is like A1 and then the product inside is just like so lackluster. So I'm really hoping that this crosses every T, dots every I, and checks every box in the list. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I think that if every single shadow in here worked for me specifically, and I like the formula and I just like how everything looks, like literally this could be a one-stop palette, especially for traveling. Literally, if I enjoy everything in here, I could take this with me and I wouldn't have to worry about everything else. And I know that was kind of the idea behind creating this palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. So you have 2 contouring shades, 2 blushes, 2 highlighters, and then on the top we have this gorgeous mirror right here. And this mirror seems like it is, yeah, it is like way good quality. I really like how it's kind of like in the shape of like a little alien head. I am so here for that. And also something that I will say that I really like about her packaging is that the top goes all the way back. Of course, with this one, it's the same vibe, but since this is a little bit more on the 3-dimensional side, it will kind of poke out a little bit, but honestly, not that much. When you have something just sitting on your vanity or your makeup station, your makeup desk, whatever surface you guys use to get ready with, a lot of palettes only go till here, and you can't push it down anymore, otherwise you'll like break the hinges on it. So I really like how you can just kind of do it like this, set it flat on your table, and just like go to town and like do your makeup. So the face palette launches on October 7th on dragunbeauty.com, and the retail price is $45. Wow, okay. I feel like $45 is a steep price for a palette like this, especially for such a new brand. If the formula, if the products inside work and they live up to the $45, then I guess at that point it will be worth it, but we're gonna be taking these for a test drive. Here are all of the swatches in order. We have Femme, Surge, T-Girl, BB Girl, Fantasy, and Silicone. I wish it was like light, medium, dark, deep, or something like that, because I truly 100% do not believe that this is going to be a universal palette for everyone. It just is not going to be. These highlighter shades are way too light to be used on dark or deep skin. When there's a product that you really want to try from a brand and you can't find your shade in it, there is nothing worse than kind of feeling left out, and there's nothing worse than not being able to find your shade in a product. My hope is that these work for everyone. I just don't feel like people understand that like one of my all-time favorite highlighters is not going to look the same on somebody with a deep complexion. So when I looked at this palette, I was like, girl, like I hope that these work for everybody, but anyways, I am ready to play around with this palette. I am ready to look like a new human. I need definition and a hope and a dream, and hopefully this palette gives me everything I need. The first shade that I'm gonna go in with today is Femme, which is the lightest contouring shade in the palette. I am going to be going in with my Morphe M527 brush. I have been using this to sculpt my face, and I love this brush specifically. I have been using this for years, and I haven't found a brush that works as well as this. I feel like it just flawlessly distributes the product on your face. It doesn't leave any like harsh lines or edges. It just like blends everything out like a dream. Also use code Garrett for 10% off if you want to save a little extra coin when you shop at Morphe. I'm going to dip into this palette and just like dust away the excess because I don't know like how pigmented this product is. I'm aware that there's like product already on this brush, but I went on a paper towel and I just like swirled my brush to like get as much off as possible. So what you're gonna see is primarily this product, but I am just gonna start like, I don't know, contour my face, trying to see what the T is. It is like really pretty, and it's blending out so beautifully. I know a lot of people like to go underneath the jaw. What's that bone? What's this bone? Cheekbone? Oh my God, how did I forget cheekbone? I don't know why I like to do this, but I like to go like right on top, but also like with this brush, it is bigger, so it does hit more surface area of your face. But I find when I go like kind of right on the bone, it just like perfectly puts the product like where it should be. They are matte. I do not like any kind of bronzers or contouring shades with sparkle because I feel like it just makes you look greasy. I feel like there's other products to achieve that more like dewy skin vibe. Foundations, highlighters, you know what I mean? And I don't feel like having unnecessary sparkle and extra products really makes that much of a difference, especially like when you are outside. Something that I don't like is when my entire face just gets really sparkly, especially like when the sunlight hits it. Do I wish it were a little bit more cool? 100% yes. I don't think it's going to top my favorite Marc Jacobs bronzer by any means, but it is really good. It blends out really, really nice, and it's not super pigmented. There are a lot of contouring palettes on the market that are just like overly pigmented in my opinion. And like when you lay down the product, it just sticks and it's really hard to blend out. So I do like how these are a little bit more easier to blend. They're not as pigmented, but obviously like it's buildable. So now I'm gonna move on to my nose contours. I am using the Morphe E62 brush. Place the product right here. And you guys are gonna think I'm crazy when I'm doing this, but I like to pack it on my nose, and then I'll kind of just like bring that product down the sides right here. And as you guys can see, the shadowing really helped lift my nose a little bit because the tip of my nose is really, really round, and I like to make it as like straight as possible. Stamp up, and this just like really helps pack on as much product as possible. And then I'm following like the natural shape of the bridge of my nose, but I am kind of like cutting it in a little bit on the tip of my nose. And then I'm gonna do the same here and just really cut that down. I'm gonna make kind of just like back and forth motions just to kind of like distribute the product on as evenly as possible. And then if it gets a little too harsh, I'll just like take my finger and kind of like blend right here, because I do cut the underneath of my brow and I don't set that product for cases like this. So if I need to blend it out, literally that concealer will just like pop right on top and it'll blend the two together. I know a lot of people, and this is what drives me nuts when people do their nose contouring, they forget about the nostrils. The nostrils, when you put concealer and foundation on top of them, they're just gonna blank out and they're gonna look like they're not there. So what I like to do is I will go in with the tiniest amount of product on this brush, and then I'll just kind of like blend that product onto the outside of my nostril, and that'll help bring more definition to your nose. And the last thing I like to do, since my nose is like hella long, I'll take the side of my brush and I'll dip it in like this, tap away the excess, and then I am going to just create a little shadow right here just to make my nose look a little bit more like, do you call this like button nose, or like, I don't know what you call this, but it just kind of makes everything look a little bit more short and not as long. So when I was watching Nikita use this palette on her Instagram story, I did notice that she used the shade Surge right here. And at the beginning, I was like, this is like way too dark for me. Like there's no way I can pull this off. I want to try using it, but only on like the parts of my face that I really kind of want to bring down, or I want to add like more shadows to. If I am going for more of like a snatched contour, this is the brush that I swear by. This will change your contouring game if you don't have it. It's super fluffy, it's angled. You can literally create any stroke you want with this for contouring, and it is just a beautiful brush. I'm gonna dip it into the shade, these have a lot of kickback, oh my goodness. So I'm gonna dip it into this, and then I am going to lightly just kind of like dust this right here. That is really dark. I don't know if I should be doing this. Ooh. On a day-to-day basis, would I use this shade? Probably not, because this is like super like, but I'm just gonna continue kind of like applying this shade where I want to, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just applying my makeup where I want to. I do like to apply a darker contour here just to kind of like bring it down a little bit, because girl, we have a 10 head. We're trying to make it a forehead. Oh, I guess, is she a forehead? I'm just gonna kind of stamp it in to my hairline to make everything look a little bit more feminine, a little more snatched. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. It's easy to blend just like the shade Femme, and I'm not noticing it being like super patchy. I'm not noticing it clinging to like any parts of my face. However, I did prep my face with hella moisturizer because, girl, we don't like to be dry in this house. I want to use both blushes, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use one on one side of my face and the other on the other side. Using my Morphe E4 brush, this is the only blush brush. I am telling you, this is the way that this just like hugs the cheek and applies blush. It is just so beautiful. It is the best one, hands down. So I am going to go in with the shade BB Girl first, which is this shade right here. So using my E4 brush, I'm going to be going in with And then a good tip with blush is to not go too far down, because if you do, you're gonna end up dragging your face down. Start at the apple of my cheek, which is literally like where the highest point of my cheekbone is. And then I will literally just like follow that up. And then, where is she? Oh, she's cute. She's cute. Oh my goodness. And then I like to kind of bring it back a little bit. And then I also like to get, when I pick up the blush, I like to get some on the tip as well, because I do like to go right under my eye. And that just makes it so everything is blended out really, really nicely. And this blush, oh, bitch, this is gorgeous. Shockingly enough, it kind of helped blend everything together, because I was worried for a second. I was like, this looks a little bit too dark. And then now I'm gonna use T-Girl, and we are going to do the same on the other cheek. Oh, she has hella fallout. Oh, baby. That was like from one touch. Ooh. Oh my God. Okay, let's try that again. Damn, that fallout is crazy. So this one is a lot more corally compared to the other one, and this does have like flecks of gold in it. It reminds me a lot of the California blush from Benefit, and that is literally the best blush ever. It is my all-time favorite. I use it literally every single day. So this one's really, really pretty. Sickening, sickening, sickening. Ooh. Okay, so now we are moving on to what I'm most excited about in this palette, which are the highlighting shades. The first shade we have is Fantasy, which is more of like a pinky purple kind of highlighter. And then we have Silicone, which obviously is more of a gold toned highlighter. So I think what I'm gonna do is I want them to be equal on both sides of my face. So I don't wanna do just like one side fully Fantasy and one side fully well, do I wanna do that? I'm gonna go ahead and use Fantasy on my Morphe JS4 brush. This brush is amazing for highlighting. And then I'm also gonna use my Morphe M501 brush on the other side. I don't know like how blinding this is, so we're just gonna kind of pick up a little bit like how I normally would, and then dust off. This is really dusty, like really dusty. And then we're going to apply Fantasy right here. Did someone forget to show up to work today? I feel like the more I apply, the dustier and chalkier it looks on the skin. It doesn't feel, I don't feel like it's going into the skin. I don't feel like it's melting into the skin. I feel like it's sitting on top. It's very much one of those highlighters in my opinion. But bitch, you know how I like my highlighters though. I like them to look, I like it to look like I have a highlighter on. I'm not getting that from this. I feel like Silicone's formulated a little bit differently because it doesn't have as much kickback as Fantasy has. I really, really like Silicone. I feel like this is a beautiful highlighting shade. I really like it. I do feel like it looks a lot prettier and a lot better on the face than this one. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face off of camera, but when we are back, I'm going to be sharing my final thoughts on the face palette with you guys. We're just gonna kind of wrap up today's video and kind of move into what my thoughts are on this palette. The first one, Femme, I don't hate it, but it's not a shade that I think I would go to frequently, and that is only because it is a tad too warm for my skin complexion. If I have anything that's too warm and it just like does not go with the cool undertones of my skin in general, it's good. Like if I were to pack this with me and I forgot to bring any other bronzers, like I would be okay using this, but I wouldn't go out of my way to grab for it every time. However, the shade Surge, I really, really like for deepening up my contour, especially like up here, kind of up on my hairline if I wanna like make it appear like my hairline's a little bit like down there. Moving on to blush, my all-time favorite was T-Girl. I am going to continue to use this one because it is absolutely beautiful on the skin. My qualms with the highlighters is that they are very, very dusty. Now, when you have everything mixed together in this palette, so you have your blushes and you have your contouring shades, this is going to fly into them. And I was noticing like T-Girl had a lot of Fantasy in it, and then Finn was getting a lot of like the fallout from Fantasy as well. And then on this side, this one is a little bit of a chunkier highlight. So it is like all over BB Girl and it is all over Surge. So I almost wish that there was a way for this palette specifically to have each individual thing protected. Also, something that I was noticing is when I was done highlighting, it was all over my shirt. it was all over my face and it was all over my hands. So it just didn't stick to anything. Didn't stick to my face. This isn't what I personally look for in a highlighter, only because I like mine to be like super blinding. I like it to be intense. I like to look at my face and see a highlight. This one is a little bit more blinding. I do think that it's really, really pretty. It did help a little bit to spray my face with setting spray, obviously, because it does kind of help all the powders to kind of like, you know, coexist together as one. What I will say is I feel like the blushes are beautifully formulated, and I also feel like the contouring shades are also beautifully formulated. They blend really nicely into the skin. They're not patchy. They are super buildable. You can get kind of the desired contour strength that you want. The only formulation that I wasn't super impressed by were the highlighters. I don't know. I am not a chemist. I am not a scientist. So I don't know how to make makeup, but I just like the dustiness of them and just kind of like the fallout of everything. It just like, these two weren't my cup of tea per se. And it's kind of up to you guys at this point whether or not you want to, you know, purchase it. The packaging is A1. It is absolutely beautiful. I love seeing unique things that you don't see every day, especially with makeup packaging. Like, this is beautiful in my opinion. I think she knocked it out of the park with that. However, I would tweak a few things on the packaging on the inside, maybe adding like, I don't know, just protectors, because these have a lot of fallout and they mix. But at the end of the day, it's you guys who are spending your money on whatever you want to spend it on. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you all again so much for spending some time out of your day to hang out with me and talk about the face palette from Dragun Beauty. If you guys aren't yet subscribed to my channel at this point in the video, what are you doing? Feel free to click that subscribe button down below to become a member of our little fam we have over here. I would love to have you guys. If you guys want to follow me around on my other social media, my username on Twitter and Instagram is @OMGIt'sGarrett. I would love to have you guys over there as well. But that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will be seeing all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.